I gathered in His name. He has promised to be there to set their hearts aflame. And right now I sense the nearness of His presence in our midst. What a privilege to feel His presence, and oh, how sweet it is. So sweet is the Spirit when it moves among His people. Hearts are melted, lives are changed, and dreams restored. He brings healing for every heartache. He has a promise for every problem. Just so sweet is the Spirit of the Lord.
All right. Let's quickly leave it here because as usual, time is Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everybody. It's Monday. All right, it's our last Monday of this program. It's our last Monday of the fast. Wow, I know we are not there yet. We're not there, and I'll tell you where we are trying to go to. But I'm celebrating. I am celebrating just to be able to perhaps sleep another 30 minutes in the morning. Will make a big difference for me. Wow, it's so good to see you here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I see Sme took the front row seat this morning, followed by Tebucho from Maun, followed by Tselani, followed by Mabukang. These were the seats that were taken before 4, followed by Maichi, Ekapa, followed by Tando, Hanuva. All of them were taken before 4. Followed by our sister Joy, who is busy, look like touring Africa. This morning, she's joining us from Addis Ababa. I hope all is well over there, Dadwet. I hope all is well over there. I'm glad that the connection is stable. Followed by Starch in the UAE. All of these are before 4. My lioness in the Cape. Xoli in I think in Rustenburg, but morning Xoli. Nomvuyo from Cape Town. Good morning. Zenzile. Good morning, Zenzile. Mama Trosa from here. Good morning, Jane, joining us from Maun. Good morning, Dudu from Johannesburg. Kitu joining us from here, South Africa. Lou, welcome. My queen, welcome, joining us from Pretoria. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do in case you are here for the first time. You're like, what's this? We just take greetings. We are African. We greet each other. When I see you, I greet you to say that I see you. I see you. I've actually taken note. I'm walking past a person. Please, can we quickly do the usual? All right. Can we quickly get our housekeeping very quickly out of the way? The message of today is likely to run away from me. I hope it doesn't. All right, but I'll continue to take the greetings. But here are the usual things that we do. 1, we greet, right? You greet if you feel comfortable to tell us where it is that you're joining us from. 2, you hit the like or the love button. So can I just see some like and some love, please? There's 90 of us in the 2 platforms where we are broadcasting at the moment. And if all of us can just hit like or love this broadcast, that will make a difference in making this broadcast reach more people. So if you can just like or love, please, can I see? I'm seeing the love growing. I'm seeing the love growing. Thank you very much. And I'm welcoming some people as well as I'm putting it up there. And then, of course, if you do not mind, and I would, right, I would become an Andrew to somebody or a Peter to somebody. You found something that you think is going to be beneficial to you, please take another person, right? Tag another, all right? Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, Esther from Pretoria. Cynthia from Nigel. Lintle from Lesotho. Good morning, Joyce from Elspach. Good morning. So, 1, you hit the like or the love button. 2, you don't mind tagging somebody, you tag them. 3, if you don't mind sharing on your platforms, you share. Thank you so much. I see the love. I see the love. I see the love. 4, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right. We're trying to increase the subscriptions so that we can reach more people again. The more subscribers you have, the more your page gets known. And if they know your page, they go to your page. And if they go to your page, they will find these messages. Somebody will meet Jesus, we pray, through the messages that we share with them. So they say, as the children say, sharing is caring. All right, the last bit, and I promise you I'll take 30 seconds doing it because we have been talking about it forever now, but I will not get tired of it until I'm full, until I can come back to you here and say, all right, we are full, and that doesn't seem like it's going to happen at too far. And that is the Theatre of Grace Conference, 23 to 26 October here in Port Elizabeth, Gqeberha at the Boardwalk Convention Center, which is a beautiful place with lots and lots of accommodation, not only at the hotel doesn't have enough, it runs out very quickly, but there's hotels adjacent to the Boardwalk, very reasonably priced. There's Airbnbs adjacent to the Boardwalk, there's bed and breakfast, there's guest houses adjacent there. So if you book close, you don't even need Uber, which was our challenge last year at the Lord Charles. This will not necessarily be our challenge. So please join us. And I'm challenging the people from the province, the people from Gqeberha, the Theatre of Grace ladies from Gqeberha are booking in. I got a message from Nosi. Nosi's from here. They got a place. They booked themselves. So people are staying in because that is what you want. You want to experience the conference without rushing back and forth home. But I also know something that Cape Town ladies did, which I also want to encourage you, Theatre of Grace, to do. That some people want to be at the conference, but they do not have really the money for accommodation. The ladies from Cape Town opened their homes for those people who want to, that they can actually stay in their homes. Therefore, they do not have the accommodation costs. So all they have to worry about is getting to the conference and registration. So Gqeberha will, I'm sure, open their homes to you guys should you wish to come to the conference, but the budget does not allow for everything. All right. I said 1 minute. I think that was indeed 1 minute. Ladies, day 16. Push through the fire. That's the title if somebody doesn't mind typing it, right? Push through the fire, right? Salbuli Simonti. I hope Imondilis to the conference this coming October. I know Cape Town is busy looking for a bus. So while you guys are waiting, thinking whether you are coming or not, by the time you decide, the Cape and those ladies are just on fire. The Cape will be here. The Cape will be here. All right. Good morning, Ludo, all the way from Francistown in my home country, Botswana. All right. Anyway, here's our title: Push through the fire. I have a couple of things that I need to say and pass. And it's important for us to say this because if you are joining us for the first time, you need context for these messages. Here's our context. We've accepted the call. We've accepted the call from heaven. We've accepted our purpose from heaven. As my mother would say, we've accepted the call to arise, to rise and raise. All right. We've accepted the call that came immediately when we came out of God's hand. And the call was be fruitful and multiply. That's our purpose. We are here to be fruitful and multiply for the glory of God and the blessing of humanity. That is what we are after. So whatever it is that we are doing, we are pursuing fruitfulness this year. We are pursuing multiplication this year. And here's the thing about fruitfulness. There is no limit about how fruitful you can get. There is no upper limit to this. We will only stop pursuing it when Christ comes. When we hear the trumpet, there's no more time for fruitfulness. Number one. Number two, the thing about multiplication, there is no limit. There is no highest number beyond which we cannot go. So as long as you are still breathing, as long as there is breath within you, that purpose, that mandate remains. But God has taken time these 21 days to say to you, I need you to know what lies ahead of you. That even as you push, and I have given you the grace, and that's the overall theme for this conference, I have given you the grace to push. I've given you the grace to be fruitful. I have given you the grace to multiply, but it's going to require a little bit of stubbornness. It's going to require a little bit of stubbornness. It's going to require a little bit of relentlessness. It's going to require you to push, right? it's going to require you to push. So we are following push in its literal meaning, but we are also following push as an acronym, pray until something happens. So we have been going through this past couple of days, this past 2 weeks certainly, we've been going through some of the things that are involved in the journey as we rise, in the journey as we pursue fruitfulness, in the journey as we pursue our purpose of multiplication. So I'm giving you now the context in case you're like, what's with the fire? So the journey, ladies, the journey, the rise, the journey to fruitfulness, the journey in the pursuit of our purpose, the journey involves, we spoke yesterday about undesirable assignments. Please take note, write this down. The journey also involves undesirable environments. Not just undesirable assignments. In other words, you can have an assignment, but in a suitable environment or in a conducive environment. The journey not only involves those undesirable assignments, but it also involves undesirable environments, right? The journey also involves undesirable environments, right? So I want you to take note of that. Somebody write that down. The journey also involves undesirable environments. In addition to undesirable assignments, it also involves undesirable environments. And my goodness, as my children say, you are cooked if you find yourself not only in undesirable, not only with an undesirable assignment, but you also have an undesirable assignment in an undesirable environment. But we're not going to double them today. But if you are in that situation, as my children say, you're cooked. You're cooked. But not as far as God is concerned. God does not allow you to be cooked to the finish. But let's stay with the environment for today. Sometimes the journey, as you ladies have written down, it also involves undesirable environments. In other words, you find yourself in Rome, right? You find yourself in Rome. Now, what do the English say? What does the common saying say? When in Rome, do as Romans do. No, you are not a Roman. The Romans do as they do because they are Romans. When in Rome, I do not know what to do, but do not do as the Romans do, unless you know why the Romans do what they do, right? So sometimes the journey will put you in Rome and you are not a Roman. Do not step into Rome and do as the Romans do until you know why the Romans do what they do. Why? Because you are not a Roman. You may be in Rome, and Rome may not be your desired environment, but do not do as the Romans do, right? Do not do as the Romans do. Why? Because you are not in Rome. You are not a Roman, right? The only time that you will do as the Romans do is when you know why the Romans do what they do, right? I'm still in that one point of undesirable environments. But if God puts you in Rome, God puts you. Oh, but if God puts you in Rome, and you would rather not be in Rome, he has a reason for putting you in Rome. So that's all. Here's what I would challenge you there. Let Rome be blessed because of your presence. Let Rome be blessed because of your presence. Some of us in the corporate space, we are in environments, or we are in position, or we are in companies, maybe even you are in a position in your family that you would rather not be in. If you were to choose, you would not be in this environment. You would not be in this job. You would not be in this company. You would rather be in a higher position. You feel you deserve a higher position, or you would rather be somewhere else. Can I just say, this saying that the English use, listen, right where you are planted now, bloom. Bloom. Bloom where you are currently planted, right? Bloom where you are currently planted. You may not be where you want to be, but for now, at the moment, God has you there. Can I just say, bloom right there where you are at the moment, right? Bloom, right? So you can find yourself in an undesirable environment. You can find yourself in Rome. Do not do as the Romans do unless you know why the Romans do. But while you are there, different to the Romans, please, you do not have to stand out by dress and by preaching to the Romans, trying to convert the Romans. No, just be yourself, be you, do you. And which you are we talking about here? The one that came from the hand of God. I have no time to go back there. Do that you, right? That you that was told be fruitful and multiply because the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. Do that you, right? Do that you. Bloom in Rome. Be a blessing in Rome. Be a breath of fresh air in Rome, such that the Romans, as they do what they do, they keep noticing something is different in Rome. There is a certain spirit person. She's different to us. We can't pick it up. We can't see it. But there's something about her. Do not do as the Romans do, but bloom. While God has planted you in Rome, stay on purpose, even though you are in Rome. And if you do that, you'll be a blessing. Although you are in Rome, you will be a blessing in Rome. It doesn't mean that you are going to be comfortable. And let me quickly jump and do that and go to prison. I'm not going to be there, by the way. Let me quickly jump and go to prison. Yes, you know what Joseph says? Joseph says to the guys, he's now in prison. And by the way, while he's in prison, he's blooming. While he's in prison, he's a blessing. Many of us think that Joseph brought a blessing when he came into the kingdom and he became the prime minister. No, remember Joseph in Potiphar's house, wherever he set foot, because he refused to be an Egyptian. He was a Jew. He was a son of God. He had made the God of Jacob the God of Joseph. So wherever he was, God was. Whether he was as a slave, God was there. And where God is, blessings follow. Let your presence in a place bring blessings. In Potiphar's house, that house of the slave keeper was blessed by the presence of the slave, Joseph. And something happens, right? God allows. And then Joseph ends up in prison. The prison starts to flourish. Why? Because Joseph is in prison. Why does the prison flourish? Because Joseph is in prison. Because Joseph comes with a presence of God. It's not just Joseph that goes to prison. It is God. And the God of Joseph also goes to prison. And where God is, there's blessing. Where God is, there's flourishing. Where God is, there's blooming. Where God is, there's flowers. Bloom. Where God is, there's fruit. It doesn't matter where you are. Prison is not a desirable environment, and you do not have to pretend to God when you are talking to him that you like it there just because he is blessing it because of your presence. Why? Watch Joseph. Joseph sits there. Watches God answering the prayers of those that he was praying for. So God is blessing them in your presence. God is blessing them in your presence. They live, they rise first. They rise first. But of catching things up. They rise first. The cupbearer that Joseph was praying for left and was in a higher position than Joseph. But when the time came, and only God knows the time, Joseph jumped all the way to being the prime minister of Egypt. Now the prime minister of the very cupbearer who just a few days ago was higher than him. Prime minister of the very Potiphar who just a few days was his owner, was a slave owner. Now the slave is master to the slave owner. It once happened here in our own country. A man, 27 years in prison, sitting on quarries and breaking down stone in an attempt to break the ferryman, sits there day in and day out, peed on by young white boys. And he watched them do as they do until year number 27. When God said, that's it, it is time. That same prisoner for 666, with people peeing on his head, with this little confinement for so many years, rose all the way to become president, even of the people who peed on his head, even of the people who put him into slavery. Bloom. Let the opening of the prison doors, let the movement of you from that environment be God's business. Bloom. Here's what Joseph says. Here's what Joseph says. He says to the guys as they leave now, as they get their blessing, as they get their answers to prayers that he's prayed for, he says to them, listen, remember me. Remember me. You know what that means is I'm not enjoying it here. But because God is here, is it Romans 8, verse 28, in all things, it doesn't mean that all these things are nice. In all things, God works together for the good of those who love him and are called according to what? His purpose, right? So that place where you are at doesn't have to be nice and fun, and you don't have to pretend that it is nice, but you are there. God has you there. Bloom. bloom. Let it receive a blessing purely because of your presence there. Because of your presence there. But you don't have to pretend that it is nice and wonderful. Anyway, I've completely lost myself now. So number one, undesirable environments. Number two, Isaiah 43, I think. Isaiah 43. Sometimes the road goes through the fire. I'm not going to say all the time. I'm not going to say the road goes through the fire because it makes the fire a necessity. Only God knows that in your rise, in your development, you need pruning, right? And that pruning will either be through the fire or through the knife, right? God decides that. And it is those that he loves, by the way, that he prunes. The ones that God allows to go through some of the experiences are those that he loves. I have no time to pursue that either. Oh, I'm running out of time. Sometimes the road goes through the fire. Somebody type that in the chat. Sometimes the road goes through the fire, but be of good cheer. I want to read this because some people don't believe it. It's in the book of Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2 and 3 and 5. When, I hate that when. I hate that word. I hate that word. I hate that word. When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. It may feel like you're drowning. It may feel like you can't move from 1 minute to the next, but you will not drown. Promises of God. 3, when you walk through the tuna, go through. We are not going in. We do not stay in the fire. We go, yes. We go in, yes. But we go through. Umgoa does not sit. Umgoa does not stay. Umgoa is a through. When you go through, I underlined it today. When you go through, please don't sit in the fire. Just because God is there, don't build a tent there. The fire is not a place of multiplication. The fire is not a place of fruitfulness. It's a place that is necessary for you to go to the next level. Sometimes the fire is there just to break you, to open you up so that the seed may be available for you to start flourishing. When you go through the fire of oppression, listen to the words. You will not be burned. You will not be consumed. It is because of the Lord's mercies. It is because of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed. Because his mercies are new every single day. Great is his faithfulness. Why? Because I am the Lord, your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. The fire, ladies, it seems that it's inevitable. I'm going to have to leave this message midway. We'll have to finish it tomorrow because I've not even gotten to where I needed to go. And I do not want to lose time today. So we're going to have a part 2 of this message for us to finish the story. Sometimes the road goes through the fire. But listen, it is a go through. It is a go through. You do not sit and park in the fire. Sometimes the fire is allowed by heaven. Like a knife is allowed by heaven in the pruning process so that you can bloom even better. Those of you here who are growing flowers know that you take your plant and you prune it. You have a garden of roses. You take your plant and you carefully prune it. You are cutting off only the parts that will make this plant be stunted. So you are removing the plants that will stunt the plant. So when God allows you in an undesirable environment to go through the fire, know that the fire is meant to reveal your seed, so that you can be fruitful even more, so that you can be more fruitful. Many of you know how green the grass becomes after it has been burned. But here's something that I'm walking away with, that I want you to walk away with. And maybe let's leave it there. Tomorrow we're going to go in the fire. Right? We're going to go in the fire. Maybe let's leave it here. Please, when you go through the fire, please remember these things. All right? Whether it's the fire, whether sometimes not only are you in the fire, but you are in water as well. And because you are in the fire, the water is hot. Sometimes it can be that bad. Not only are you in water, and God says you will not be drowned by the water, but because you are in the fire, the water is hot. And here's what God says: you will not burn up. You will not be consumed. So you may feel the heat. Just because you are feeling the heat does not mean that you are burning up. You are not consumed. You may be feeling the heat, all right, or even seeing the heat, but you are not consumed. God will not allow you to be consumed. to burn, and you have been allowed to go, and your road to the other side goes through the fire. Oh, we have no time. But join us tomorrow morning for us to go then through the fire and see what God does. You see what God has won. See, by the way, some of the activities that lead to the fire. And one of those is what we call professional jealousy. Professional jealousy will put you in the fire. But let's see how that happens. Tomorrow, join us, and let's see how does God show up then in the fire. But let me give you a hint. Let me give you a hint. In all things. In all things. In all things. In all things. That's my hint. Romans 8, verse 28. I'm going to stop here because I'm committed this week to be on time. So you might have to have messages that I have a part 1 and a part 2. Join us tomorrow in the fire. But until then, day 16, Betuna. I was counting, I was doing a countdown, and I've got 30 seconds. I was doing a countdown, and I thought, 5 days left. And I said, and I asked myself, 5 days left to what? What's next? I am nervous. I don't know, maybe demand is it. For those who wonder why I cry so much, I get so involved in this because I'm asking now, Lord, what is next? I'm anxious about what's next. Because remember, ladies, it's not 5 days left. It's not 5 days until the end of this. But yes, 5 days until the end of this, and 5 days until the beginning of the next level. After day 21, we are not slowing down. We are changing gears and we are changing upwards. After day 21, we are changing upwards. We are leveling up. So we are in flow what? Now, I don't know. Let's say we are in flow 7, flow 5, whatever flow you are in. I don't know. But after day 21, we are leveling up to the next level. Because see what awaits us in the next level. What awaits us in the next flow, I do not know, but I trust this. I know that you are also there. All I ask is that you give me the grace, even in the next level, to push. That you give me the grace, even in the next level, to bloom in the next level, to be fruitful in the next level, to multiply, possibly powered and encouraged and strengthened by this current level. Let's leave it here. God bless you. Enjoy day 16. Let me tell you, next week you're going to miss these days. Next week you're going to miss these days. We'll take a break, but we're going to miss these days. We're going to miss these days. Because do not forget to pray. Do not forget to pray. Our strength is there. Do not forget to read the word of God. Don't forget to read his word. Don't forget. Yes, we are putting food aside, but it's about prayer, not about food. All right, let me stop.